Between Saving Private Ryan, the movie Interstellar, and The Martian, America has spent a lot of money rescuing Matt Damon. I just came back from seeing The Martian. I really should have seen this movie like a week ago, but I had so many things to do at the bank, I just didn't have time. So not only did I see The Martian, but I snuck into, what was it called, Black Mass. And I saw the Whitey Bulger story, which really, it was a decently filmed movie and everything, but it really wasn't that much better than The Departed, which was actually pretty much a better Boston crime movie. So anyway, I'm just making a simple little vlog, a video blog about The Martian. And I really like the movie. I love the science in the movie. I like the whole geology aspects, and I like the botany aspects, because they basically had to show you that it would be possible for people to actually, get stuff to Mars, build on Mars, and to grow enough food, water, and air in order to stay on Mars. And most of the effects were really well done. And if you saw the movie, I'm going to not try to spoil anything for you. But after having seen Mission to Mars and Red Planet, I was actually slightly disappointed that there were some aspects of those movies that showed their ugly faces in this movie in particular. And, astrophysicists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Dr. Tyson hasn't talked out about this movie much yet. He did mention that he was going to see it on Bill Maher, but he caught hell when he talked about gravity and how unrealistic some of the aspects of the movie were. So there was a couple of things that I was just going to point out about this movie. And as you can see, I'm doing this on my computer, and I'm doing it in a lazy fashion by just holding my iPhone in front of my computer. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if you put video clips and stuff from this movie in, more than likely you get flagged, and then you don't get paid. And as you know, I'm all about the cash. So they had nice spacesuits, they had nice shuttles and ships and everything. Everything was pretty much exactly what you expect to see out of a Ridley Scott movie after seeing like Alien. And most of the movie is spent with Matt Damon, as you expect, trying to figure out how to science his way out of impending death by trying to figure out how to repurpose everything that he can in order to grow food and make water. And he uses his own waste and this, that, and other. If you've read the book, you know pretty much everything you need to know about the movie. The commercials make no secret out of the fact that he's going to get rescued. Sitting there and watching this movie is about them depicting Mars, number one, and trying to do it in a realistic fashion. And watching this film is about trying to figure out how he's going to get off the planet. See, we already know that he's going to get rescued. They're not going to spend that kind of money to make a movie where he dies like 5 minutes into the end of the movie. They're not going to do that. But the reason why you watch this movie, especially if you already read the book, there really are no spoilers, but the reason why you watch this movie is to see just what technology and international cooperation with China and that is going to look like in the future. And to tell you the God's honest truth, I mean, I really like the movie. It's just a little disappointing that they fell into some Hollywood cliches. The ship was well done. And if you saw the movie Mission to Mars, basically this was just a bigger and better version of the ship from Mission to Mars. It's just a hell of a lot bigger. It's probably like 3 times the size of the Mission to Mars model. And they stayed away from aliens, and they stayed away from spiritual and supernatural forces and all that. So basically they tried to make this as sciencey as possible. Most likely the Marscape was probably shot out in some desert, probably somewhere in like Asia, or I haven't looked up any of the production notes because it really doesn't matter. All they had to really do was find a desert and then go to different sides of the desert and shoot the video in different directions, and nobody would ever possibly notice. Then the next thing you do is you tint the sky with some kind of filter on your camera, and you make it just look a little bit redder, and then you put a CGI Earth somewhere in the corner, and everybody will assume it's Mars. I mean, the thing about it is, when you're dealing with effects like this that aren't CGI, basically, people are willing to suspend disbelief because they know, I mean, for God's sakes, they already know we're not really on Mars. Watching the movie Total Recall, when you had all of those puppeteering and effects and everything, really made the movie feel real. Mission to Mars felt very, very real. It was a very well-made movie. I don't know what the budget was, but to tell the truth, most of the stuff they could have gotten from NASA as props, so frankly, it really shouldn't have been that expensive. There were a couple of things that did bother me. First of all, if you did read the book, it's no spoiler. In the very beginning of the movie, there's a major storm. Now, after watching this movie, Mission to Mars, I would have thought that they would have tried to stay away from major superstorms, because the simple fact of the matter is the air is so thin on Mars until, even if there are storms with winds of like 150 miles per hour, because of the fact that the air pressure is so much lower on Mars than it is on Earth, and you're dealing with Mars has like what 40% of the gravity of Earth, because it's only a little bit bigger than the Earth's core. So the air pressure there is consequently lower because of Mars's gravity. So why they continue to go with these monstrous superstorms is beyond me, and they really shouldn't have done that. But they did that because they had to figure out a hasty way of getting the rest of the crew to abandon Matt Damon on Mars. And then you get to the ending, and the ending of this movie was exactly like the ending in the movie Red Planet. They had these MEVs, they called it, and it was basically a rocket to get you off of Mars. The thing about it is this rocket could only get into orbit, like low Mars orbit, in order to rendezvous with the larger ship that I just showed a picture of. So near the end, I mean, if you watch the video, he obviously is going to do exactly what Val Kilmer did in the movie Red Planet, and he jerry-rigs this little space capsule in order to fire this thing into space to get up there so he can rendezvous with, you know, the ship that's waiting for him. There's so many things that could possibly go wrong that this kind of quickie ending to a Hollywood movie of this type kind of bothered me, because the thing about it is there is no way, there's absolutely no way, you could be the most well-trained astronaut in the world, there's no way that you're going out with a tether and somebody's flying around by using a hole in his glove to, there's no way that's happening. I mean, even in the best case scenario, that's not going to happen. Worst case scenario, you're going to slam into the other person and break every bone in their hand. But I really thought that what Hollywood should have done was they should have left Matt Damon on Mars and just shown that he was colonizing it and everything was going good and that he would be able to somehow stay there. If that was the case, then they could just bring him more supplies and leave him there, and he would just colonize Mars. In fact, what they could have done was they could have left one of the women there, and you could have had them get together and play house. Next thing you know, they would have had babies on Mars, and then that would have been true colonization of Mars, because it's mentioned in the movie that if you grow plants on another planet, that's how you colonize it. But in my opinion, they could have taken this in an entire different direction. Instead of, you know, doing this quickie, let's fix it in a half-hour trip back to Mars to rescue him, I really think it kind of would have made more sense to leave him there, have him continue to build that lab, had Earth send more parts or something for a space station there, and had him just stay there with one of the women and they could have some kids. But that's just how I feel about it. Because me personally, for Hollywood to copy off of Mission to Mars and Red Planet, and to do everything else right from a scientific point of view, but to just go with these cliches super rescue at the last minute endings, I just thought that was a little sloppy. So, I mean, if you see the movie, you'll definitely enjoy it. It's a good movie. You know, there's a couple of F-bombs in there, so, you know, some of you touchy-feely, politically correct parents who have no balls at all might not want to bring your kids there. But other than that, it was worth watching. It was worth my $10 to see it in 3D, and I really enjoyed it. But, you know, those were just my little quibbles. And now I'm going to get back to my Bud Light Raspberry Rita thought juice right here. Oh, yeah.